opening government, we have Kelvin, Chong, and in opening opposition, we have Tyrian, Lannister, and Sandor. In closing government, we have Yuki Mara A, and in closing opposition, we have Lannister. Your chair for the round will be Hafid. Paneling beside him is myself, Deborah, and Zoe. I'd like to remind all members of the floor to please put your phone on silent, and for the audience, if you need to leave the room, please do it between speakers and as quietly as possible. Now, without any further ado, I invite the Prime Minister to begin the speech. Here.
This debate is not about whether or not feminism in its entirety is good or bad. This debate is specifically about whether marketplace feminism is uniquely good. Let's be clear, what is marketplace feminism? The first, it covers celebrities. It covers celebrities. Who are these celebrities? These are celebrities like Taylor Swift, Amy Schumer, and Leslie Jones. What do these celebrities do? These celebrities like Taylor Swift and like Leslie Jones tell you that if you are a feminist and positive feminism, you have to go out there and support my latest Ghostbusters movie because it's a conception of feminism. People like Taylor Swift, they tell you that you're not to be part of a female squad and use sound bites like to be part of a squad, then you have to go and buy her tickets, buy her CDs. This is important. What is really different about this form of feminism compared to all other forms of feminism is that number one, it is normally spearheaded by a celebrity, and number two, they involve some form of commercial transaction for you to participate in this form of feminism. As such, the name marketplace feminism. What is the comparative now and what we support in opening government? Yeah, okay, what we preferably want? We want individuals to construct their own interpretations of feminism to empower themselves. But secondly, we are also okay with state lobbying for further changes. And third, we think that the commercialization is not necessarily a prerequisite to fit the patriarchy. Three things in this speech. First, why this form of feminism is uniquely the worst form of feminism. Second, why this prevents itself the self-attraction of people for generations to come. And third, how this entrenches patriarchies in third world developing nations. So first, why is this form of feminism uniquely worse than all other forms of feminism? The first reason is because unlike any other form of feminism, is that there are structural barriers to entry to participate in this form of feminism. Either number one, you will be the celebrity, which means you have to somehow rise to fame, or number two, the average person has to participate in this form of feminism, which means in order for you to fall under Taylor's definition of being a feminist, you have to buy her tickets, you have to take part in the show. And this is particularly important. The important example to draw here was that when Nicki Minaj lost an award during the Grammys, she tweeted something about how it was unfair because she was black and Taylor Swift won the award because she was white. Taylor Swift responded by saying, "But we're all on the same team, we're all feminists, and for you to denounce me winning, that means that you are not feminist." So this is particularly the particular form of feminism that the important part to point here is that not everybody can participate in this kind of feminism. Only some people can afford to buy their CDs to afford to go to these kinds of tickets. When Amy Schumer tells you that you're not to be a feminist and support her, that you go to her stand-up comedy shows, we think that's something that's fundamentally bad for a couple of reasons. First, because to drown out all the other voices of what it means to be a feminist, and more importantly, there are some people who want to be feminists, want to fight for feminist rights, and see themselves as feminists, but cannot participate in your form of feminism. But this is important. Because we're going to suggest that this form of feminism has taken the media has particularly shown biases to this form and has hijacked the way in which we construct feminism around the world for a couple of reasons. First, so why do this particular form of why do media have to do this? Because when it comes to the media, they have incentive to show people like Taylor Swift or Nicki Minaj for example as compared to some random liberal in the university, because the media has incentive to report together. So this you allow these people to hijack the mainstream interpretation of feminism. But more than that, right? We think that more above and beyond this, when you subject yourself to commercialization of the capitalist society, is that you amalgamate feminism with one of the most important driving forces that entrenches patriarchy, which is capitalism. Because the way in which Taylor Swift became popular and became like the superstar she did wasn't because she was particularly talented. The reason why she gained power was because her father bought 40% of the shares of the music company when she was 12 years old, then chose to celebrate her. Which means in order for you to participate in this with, you need a white, presumably need a male with a lot of mind with it. But why do you think capitalism further entrenches patriarchy? Because the unfortunate reality in the world we live in today is that when it comes to the capitalist world we live in, the most of the people that control private property, the private productions of property, are white males. Which means in order for you to you amalgamate these two things and that you think that you subject yourself to the white male or to the men and internationally things happen. But why is this uniquely harmful? Because it gives the illusion of freedom. Taylor Swift might, presumably, is a lot richer than all of us in this room, right? But the extent that in order for her to be able to be successful to begin with, meant that she had to participate in a system and kowtow to males in society. And she might make a lot of money, but guess who makes more money? The record company that sells her company, that sells her girls, all of which are white males. So it creates the illusion that you have some, it creates the illusion that you have some form of freedom, but necessarily the vast majority of us don't. Yes.
In the absence of pro-women messaging that occurs in marketplace feminism, what would capitalism actually look like in your world?
Look, capitalism is still going to be the same. But what we suggest is that, and to the extent that you want to say that in order for you to be a feminist means that you can buy my tickets, something that's fundamentally wrong. So we are okay with people not being feminists and identifying themselves as normal human beings and participating in capitalism. But to the extent you're saying, I am a feminist and I'm participating in capitalism that further entrenches, that helps Taylor Swift, but guess what? Helps the white male more, that's something you think is fundamentally bad. Second, what is ideology of feminism particularly harmful to all the other forms of, like, the millions of people who come? Because we think that you force out a narrative of what it means to be feminist. We think, particularly, as I've already said, that to the extent that media companies have an incentive to report on these kinds of feminism as compared to like third world feminism in developing countries, we think that it hijacks the narrative of the media hijacks the narrative, right? That the only way for you to be feminist, or the cool interpretation of what it means to be feminist as it is now, is that you have to support people, like every female teenager in the United States has to support people like Taylor Swift or like people like Nicki Minaj, right? We think it's particularly helpful for young girls around the world, or let's say people around the world for generations to come. Because it tells you that the only way to be feminist is this particular form of interpretation. Which is, if you are a feminist and you believe that your fight for any other right, or for abortion rights and like social justice movements is anti-technical or completely different to that of what people like Taylor Swift simply never fight for, that you are not a feminist, that you are necessarily not part of these things, and then you question yourself necessarily why it is that. But more importantly, because this disenfranchises people at the point in which they might be feminists, and you need critical mass in order for your movement to win. But other than beyond that, we think that this rounds out a lot of other things. Why? Because the media doesn't report things like Muslim feminism in United States, right? You report people like Emma Watson, where she like chose not to wear a corset in Beauty and the Beast, and therefore she's a feminist. We think it drowns out lots of other forms of feminism that are uniquely more important, right? So let's be clear, we're not placing a value on which is more important. But the point in which one particular form can hijack the narrative of all other forms of feminism, and you drown all the other voices. You drown the billions of people around the world who are constantly suffering in these worlds like this. Why do you think it's particularly bad? Because the unfortunate reality when it comes to the interpretation of feminism, or the people in the position of power when it comes to this form of feminism, is that they are white, they are liberal, and that they are from the United States of America, or presumably Western Western. This is bad, because the international conception of what it means to be a feminist, or to begin with, is that it's an incredibly liberal conception. Why is this fundamentally bad? This is like extension. Because we're trying to the legitimacy of people to have their patriarchies in conservative states. Because at the point in which you hijack this narrative and say this is what it means to be a feminist, and the person who represents you is a white female liberal and forces her liberal position down the throat, then it's very easy for the patriarchal societies in these theocratic societies to point to and say, we cannot let our women get these rights, or any form of organization. It means if we give them these rights, the immediate jump is not to slowly organically change, but for them to go on the streets and for them to dance in skimpy outfits when it comes to like international image. So all these reasons we are very proud of those.
Thank the Prime Minister for today's I now invite the opposition leader from the Parliamentary. Here.
We need to recognize that feminism is not a single movement, but rather a blanket term for several different movements in terms of feminism. This means that some feminists fight for like the feminists in your world, where they try and enfranchise Muslim women, right? It's true that there is feminism. Or that feminism also covers individuals who want to fight for abortion rights. These two groups of movements are extremely separate, almost never actually meeting. But we recognize that while feminism that marketplace feminism is a different form of feminism and separate from that form of feminism. So, in my speech, I'm going to talk about three things. Firstly, why it increases the acceptability of feminism and increases the discussion about feminism to the general public, including the international community. And secondly, why our side topples the patriarchy. And thirdly, I'm going to talk about why it's entirely justified. But before that, a few rebuttals. Now, we think that's what the House says. That oh yeah, sure. Since you are now the only way for you to participate in the patriarchy into feminism is to bow and kowtow to like the rich white males, because because now when you mix capitalism with feminism, it makes it so. We think that even if that's horrible, the comparative is, simply women not actually trying to participate in capitalism in the first place, because that's comparative. Because women who do not actually go out and try their very best to fight for feminism, because that's comparative, they also have the house. We think that even if it is a negative sort of thing, we still think that comparative is worse. Go ahead.
Look, if you're saying that you want women to participate with capitalism, then is it not better for women to participate in a more engaging way and more discussional way?
But if women want to do that, we think it's entirely right. It's entirely rightful to do so. But here's the thing. The only way they actually said that marketplace feminism actually detriments real normal time feminism is the amount of TV space they get. We think that when it comes to that sort of thing, we can have both, right? Meaning that marketplace feminism is a sort of feminism that actually tries to fight for women. By the point at which they only fight for a small group of women, we think that's a very, very limited form. Why? Because it's naturally incentivized for marketplace feminism to actually cover all of these sort of issues. Because if these are the biggest, most sensational issues, where women face the most amount of discrimination, that we think that marketplace feminism will check and balance that by having celebrities who realize that they will get the most attention and the most media sales, realizing that the large amounts of discrimination that are faced by women are the biggest things that we have to combat. We think that market feminism can cover this too. So, two arguments. Firstly, no. Firstly, why it increases the acceptability of feminism. We need to recognize that at the point at which we have market feminism, whereby celebrities are more incentivized to talk about feminism, or to try and sell the idea of feminism to the general public, something which is more which is increased incentive on the outside of the housing, how they can actually base their products on this sort of thing, or try their very best to sell more sponsor tickets for that. We think on the comparative, celebrities simply keep quiet in that sort of thing. But go ahead.
What is the end goal of feminism that you want to reach on your side?
Well, the end goal of feminism is straightforward. We want a feminism. I'll talk about this in my case. We think that is literally my case. So, we want to normalize the idea of feminism. What does this mean? This means that the point in which there's increased amount of things around you which tell you that you have that feminism is the best movement, or the standard morals, that the standard moral state is the point in which feminism becomes normalized in our society. Meaning that the public consciousness is more susceptible to, or more ready to accept feminism, to the point at which we have celebrities who will constantly tell you or market to you that feminism is the real thing. At the point at which we have catchy feminist slogans being played on advertisements telling you that feminism is the way to go. At that point in time, we recognize that's what happens is that feminism becomes a really normative thing in our society. This means that we will draw a parallel to things like racism, where if you are not a racist, you are really old in your point of view. You're really outdated and you're really just inhumane. We will say that marketplace feminism manages to increase it makes sure that the society in general is more susceptible to this sort of thing, and therefore it may make sure that the narrative of feminism is more prevalent in our culture. So, second issue for that. So, why outside topples and patriarchy? We need to recognize that there's a natural incentive for the individuals who control the power struggle, who control the power structures in our world, to actually meet this sort of patriarchy, to try and topple the patriarchy outside. I'll talk about later after I accept this view.
We are okay with people buying tickets. We don't want people to buy tickets because they are feminists, because we allow the capitalist systems of power to hijack feminism as a reason as why people will buy tickets in their future.
Okay, we think that in both worlds, the feminist celebrity will still try to sell tickets. But in our world, we say that, hey, we are doing this for feminism, meaning that there's an increased awareness of what feminism is really like. Meaning, there's an increased discussion and knowledge of feminism. We will say that it's infinitely preferable to the silent suffering of women, in which is their status quo, at the point at which there's no discussion or very little actual discussion about the problems that women face. We said that even if that narrative comes at the cost of being burdened to capitalism on a comparative, it's still better than their world. Feminism is just a movement which is just there. It's not really prevalent in normal society or normal culture. So back to my argument about how we incentivize power structures to normalize and therefore increase patriarchy. Because the marketplace feminism, all of us here have to concede that marketplace feminism is really profitable, or at least very, very successful. Meaning that companies in general are incentivized to buy into this idea of marketplace feminism simply because it is the overwhelming narrative of most companies, or simply because doing so will increase their profits or increase their ability to stand out in the market. This means that companies are naturally incentivized to buy into this, to not only to buy into this narrative, also to not only propagate this narrative in terms of marketing their products, in terms of marketing their slogans and all of that. Also, they're also intangible things. Things like trying to ensure that there is an equal work process when considering whether they should or not say should or should not accept a woman into their ranks as part of a company. This means that companies and large celebrities are naturally incentivized to create more songs, to create more records to deal with feminism. Things like Taylor Swift and Rihanna releasing songs and advertisements which necessarily center around the empowerment of women. We say this is fantastic. Why? Because in your world, feminism and patriarchy may ensure that women suffer silently without any attention towards their actual thing. We think that even if you say that feminism is like a real powerful movement, we say that in the status quo, although feminism has a lot of corporations and companies which do center around feminism, we think that the problem is that these things necessarily are polarized with the power structures in the patriarchy. Meaning that that at the point in which a company wants to buy into the idea of feminism, it will necessarily have to sacrifice profits, it will necessarily have to sacrifice their ability to stand out as a company. We say that in our world, it changes. We say in our world, we create change.
Thank the opportunity leader. I now invite the second speaker from the devices. Here.
Clegane once said that the patriarchal construction of difference between masculinity and femininity is the political difference between freedom and subjection. Because we've always prayed ourselves as feminists to be able to topple the patriarchy in its eventuality. The problem with the model as such is that a particular policy that opposition wanted to push for was to precisely count out with the very patriarchy that feminism has for far too long tried to distance and separate themselves from. We think that the bulk of opening opposition's case was an amorphous case telling you why more people need to know about patriarchy, and the extent of the analysis virtually stopped at that. 3 responses. The first is this misses the nuance in the Prime Minister's speech. We were okay with politicians lobbying for those social change. We are okay with individuals going to platforms to say perhaps that what our version of feminism is. We are okay with discussion in forums that bring out the awareness of individuals from feminism. But no, let's not fool ourselves, right? Spreading awareness is not exactly synonymous with commercializing of feminism. We think that the difference of commercializing is particularly, it's vastly different because of 2 particular characteristics. The first is that you fit into capitalist system and capitalist structure. The second is that individuals mistake power to change feminist concepts or the oppression against women into something that they can consume. Those 2 things are particularly dangerous. What do we bring to you coming from opening government? The first thing we told you is that a policy like just the marketplace feminism places an artificial label on what it means to be a woman. That it tells you that the only way and the right way of feminism is to particularly show the most liberalized conceptions of what it means. When billboards and all the other social spaces dominate your discourse with conceptions and like liberal values such as free the nipple, we think this crowds out the ability for conservative feminists to fight for the causes that matter to them. For instance, why is it unfair for a woman in Saudi Arabia or Middle East to fight for their right to wear the hijab? It may not be a mainstream liberal conception of what feminism means, but it's equally valid, given that feminists for far too long have tried to fit the main characteristic of feminism, different from all other forms of social movement like the LGBT community, is the fact that it's decentralized. It's the fact that it doesn't have a single organization to dictate the flow of feminism. Why is this particularly important? The difference means that individuals cannot claim to represent feminists as an insular narrative in public domain. Meaning to say, you cannot tell me that the liberal values of what it means for a woman is the only right way above and beyond the things that people in the Middle East fight for. What is the claim on opening opposition? Opening opposition tells you that we need more discussion. First, that's not mutually exclusive. But second, how is the discourse done? How is the discourse actually manifest? That's the thing we contend here. The first thing is discussions that are manifested by capitalist structures are often driven by influential white male elites at the top. That is the fundamental difference. We are okay with discussions that are driven by the personalized and subjective experiences of women like Malala Yousafzai. But their policy interjects and hijacks that in the worst way possible. Because now they place the premium on people like Taylor Swift above and beyond like people like Malala Yousafzai and crowds out those other conceptions of this particular debate. But they never responded, I'll take CEO in a moment, but they never responded to the bulk of the analysis in PM that this entrenches and buys into the rhetoric of your third world nation. But before I explain how that works out, yes, Kelvin.
Unfortunately, every other platform that exists is dominated by the white male, politically, academically, culturally. So what platform would your feminists have to fight on that will be free from these effects that you argue exist in the capitalist structure?
Oh, the difference in our world is that it's not driven by consumerist structures of money. Why is this different, Mr. Speaker? Because we think that when things have when politicians come up and fight for whatever conceptions that they want, be it in liberal nations or in like third world countries, they can be voted out and checked against, Mr. Speaker. There's a sense and a mechanism for individuals to check those particular governments. But it's very different, like Mr. Chair, when this happens, like when this happens via the people that CEO claim it exists. That's why it's problematic. But further than this, we told you that this entrenches the rhetoric of the third world nation. Because now countries in Pakistan or Saudi Arabia are able to point at these particular liberal conceptions of feminism to see that those are the kind of people that we are going to become if we liberalize and if we allow for like progressive, so like if we allow for progressive laws for women empowerment. Those things are particularly problematic in their world. No offense. But we also told you about why this crowds out the ability for like individuals in third world nations or people who are comfortable with the conservative interpretation of what feminism can possibly be. We think it's unfair for them to place a label that feminism is always about liberal interpretations in that regard. We think you force the narrative onto women and tell them that one particular affiliation of feminism is the only insular way for individuals to particularly exist. We think particularly that there is bad. Two extensions. First, why capitalism is diametrically opposed to feminism, and two, why the image perpetuated by media stereotypes is not the same as reality. I'll start from the second. Feminism is often perceived artificially as being progressive by your influential media outlets. How does this work? When the film Bridesmaid came out, individuals perceive that as a stepping stone for women in the media. There's a lot of publicity and media conversation about how this is a progressive conception of feminism, but unfortunately, this belies a little truth that only 12% of lead roles in the top 100 top grossing Hollywood movies went to females. We think that now what their side does is to conflate notions of power with things that are consumable. Meaning to say, now what they tell males is that you can consume narrative of feminism. Why is this dangerous? For two reasons. First, because now males are the ones who dominate that particular discourse. Because as Douglas said in the analysis, at each point when Taylor Swift breaks out, millions of dollars insist that the company and producers stand to gain the most from it. We think there's an asymmetry of power. Don't tell me Taylor Swift is able to mobilize and control that discourse that surrounds her. It's oftentimes directed by individuals in those particular companies telling her what she should fight for. We think that ultimately problematic. And don't let all lie to you. The conversation that surrounds Taylor Swift is not that individuals should be allowed to wear a hijab. It's not about the suffering of individuals. Rather, they tell you things like to purchase my products. They tell you things like I'm the one that you should represent. I'm the one that you should affiliate yourself with. But capitalism is diametrically opposed to the end goals of feminism because it co-opts mainstream feminism at the expense of conservative conceptions of feminism and dilutes the message in a bid to please the male popularity so that they can kowtow to male elites to effect that particular changes for them. Mr. Speaker, spreading the word and having a discussion about feminism is not the same as commercialization. It's high time that individuals get to dictate their conceptions of feminism and empowerment by themselves.
I thank the Deputy Prime Minister. Now, before the next speaker, I'd like to invite the Deputy Opposition Leader.
Yeah.
base of the analysis that they gave, which supposedly counters our side, is that on the principles based which the white man on top can be helping the feminist movement, it is supposedly wrong. We say that the white man on top helping is perfectly okay. Why is this so, right? Because first of all, it shows that the economic hard hitter in the patriarchy is supporting the feminist movement. This gigantic person, this gigantic influence in the patriarchy itself is supporting that very movement that the patriarchy is going against, and we think that this is the start to elicit the change that is needed, right? First of all, they argue on the basis of principle about we would like to bring things to perspective that the end justifies the means, Mr. Speaker. We say that if our side is still able to prove that we can achieve and topple the patriarchy, we can achieve the fight for women's rights, right? Then how is our side wrong? They've been arguing about the justification for the fight right now for feminism and how having the white man help the feminists is wrong, right? But we say that as long as it helps the feminists in the end, as long as it wins them their rights, we say that that is the right thing to do. Now, it's all about the difference between spreading awareness and the fight for feminism. We say that spreading awareness is the first step in helping the fight for feminism. Why is it so? And how do we get this done better on our side, right? First of all, we have to get rid of the direct resistance that the patriarchy shows for feminism. We need to say, we need to make feminism a much more welcoming version of what the status quo is, right? We can't just keep on doing what we've been doing for the past few millennia, which is facing patriarchy head on by saying that, by using concrete conservative feminism views, right? We have to say that we're willing to conform a bit to spark the discussion that is needed, and then pursue our rights when the idea of feminism is then normalized into society. Now, accepted.
Which one's better? The fact that you can have a huge number of people who claim to be feminists, or that you can have a more engaging and a more thoughtful and a more knowledgeable feminist values?
We say that even if you do achieve this for knowledgeable feminist values, right? We say that those values are still present on our side, but the only main difference is that on your side, right, you don't even achieve the fight for women's rights because the patriarchy is still showing direct resistance towards it because it's not normalized in the society. Now, why do we still allow them to fight it, right? Because first of all, they have to prove how allowing these feminists to fight against patriarchy is mutually exclusive to their side. And next, I would like to point out how eliciting the change that they talk about, I'll prove why eliciting the change they talk about is only possible on our side and not through the conservative feminism, which they will propose as a form of alternative. Now, on to my constructive matter. Right? So, first of all, I'll be talking about why it's easier to get people involved in this form of feminism, and why it's easier to be stick into this system of patriarchy, and why liberalization of the world won't eventually topple the patriarchy. In their case, where conservative feminism is the main fight they're pushing for. Accepted.
How do you ever, by spreading liberal conception of feminism, ever get individuals in the third world who identify themselves as feminists to ever reconcile with your cause?
We said that with the advancement of the world, right, the third world eventually brings itself up, and therefore, because of the liberalization, which I will bring up in my case later, right, these third world concepts will be dragged down, and therefore it will be conformed into a sort of stagnant condition which can be seen in the form of modern day like America and such. Right? Now, why is it easier to get people included in this form of feminism? Right? First of all, I thought about this a bit, but I'm going to explain why it is not directly resisted by the patriarchy. Because the moment, right, that you put on this hard-faced, radicalized version of feminism, this hardcore version of feminism, the patriarchy immediately identifies this as a threat towards that patriarchy. And they say that they won't allow it no matter what. Right? First of all, we have to realize that members of the patriarchy, members that support the patriarchy, have already been brainwashed into thinking that the patriarchy is the best way. Because it's been working for the past few millennia, Mr. Speaker. That's what they're going to tell you. And that's what I'm going to expand upon in the case of liberalization, which I'll bring up later. Right? Next, it will be integrated as part of the public consensus, right? Because what we're doing is we're allowing the feminists to have power in the power structures that move in the discourse among people, right? We're allowing these power structures, aka the advertisements and the media and the celebrities, right? We're allowing the feminists to find a place in these power structures and therefore find that foundation that they need to build on their case to release the change that they need. Now, why is the influence that we support ever present, right? Because as they've already conformed to, right? If marketplace feminism does take its case, it will be present in all popular forms of media, right? And we feel that as the analysis that I've given you before, right, eventually the third world countries will drag them down. this media will be available to everyone. It will be ever present. That influence will always be on society, and eventually it exerts societal pressure towards the feminist movement. So now, why do we want to make feminism overall much more welcoming concept? Right? Because we feel that the meaningless fight for hard-faced concepts is useless in its end if it's not able to achieve its goal of eliciting that change in the patriarchy. Right? We feel that we have to cut our losses as we have to realize that in the past few millennia, this fight has not this fight has not been working out for us. That the hardcore conservationist feminist movement has not been working out in the favor of the feminists themselves. Accepted.
She will never, when Taylor says in the interview, she will never talk about abortion rights. Rather, she will say, in order for you to join my squad, you need to buy my tickets. In order to be a feminist, you need to participate in the system. She drowns out the rights of any other feminist fight, like abortion and Planned Parenthood.
If we can prove why marketplace feminism is better than the other forms of feminism which you talked about, then isn't that justified in a way, right? So now, we have to understand that the feminist movement has not been making significant changes in the past world, and we have to understand that it is slowing down in the terms that in the changes that it will elicit in the future, right? So, we have to understand that the fighting of patriarchy has not worked to this very day. To this very present, the patriarchy is still present in our foundation because it's obvious foundation in the history that we have as a human race, right? We say that feminism has spawned a new phase to be able to move in this new world, right? So why will liberalization of the world? Why will it eventually topple the patriarchy? Because what they're going to argue is that the world's going to get liberalized, and therefore conservative feminism will eventually find its influence will eventually find its way into the liberal world. Right? We say that when our history itself has been built on the actions of the patriarchy, when our history itself justifies the actions of the patriarchy, and we say that whatever we've been achieved is because of this patriarchy, right? We feel that that works against itself, and that's why the liberalization of the world will never solve the problem of the feminist influence never going through. Because of our opposition towards this meaningless fight for conservative feminism, we are proud to oppose.
Thank you, Deputy Opposition Leader. I now invite the closing half of the debate member of government. Here.
Mr. Speaker, let us acknowledge just how fluffy and also how weak the case is brought by the opening opposition, right? Because first they wanted to talk about attention, they wanted to talk about acceptability. And then the second speaker came here because he said that this resistance is not something that we need because it is not strategy for the feminism or for the feminists out there in order for them to actually put the boots on the ground. We think that there is not going to be any problem with that. The side-closing government has no much problem against capitalism because capitalism can also be a part of feminism, and therefore in that particular part of this debate, that is where we are disconnecting ourselves from the opening government. Because knowing the fact that female involvement in capitalism means to allow female participation, we are not going to have any problem with that. But our concern is the ineffectiveness of this particular kind of feminism and what this ineffectiveness do. It is also about who brings marketplace feminism. It is also what it brings forth and what do they cater to. And we're going to be the first team to talk about the impact of feminism in depth by discussing about the fraction of feminism that are exclusive to marketplace feminism and also principles and also outsiders to feminism as a whole. But before that, a few rebuttals on the points brought by the opening opposition, right? First, I wanted to talk about acceptability and attention. More than that, this is exactly the kind of thing that feminist movements want. But the issue here is that the reason why marketplace feminism is acceptable because it is marketplace feminism. It is not feminism as a whole. If you wanted to talk about acceptability, right, we have to talk about about what are the kind of things that people accept about that particular feminist movement. And more often than not, it is about that being marketplace. It is about the things that are sexy within that particular idea, not because of it being a form of feminism, and we think that idea should fall. And it is also not about you getting attention. It is about what kind of attention that you get, right? Because if you say that you wanted to do this because it is something that's appealing to the crowd and something that is worth attention, we think that it is a problem, right? Because if you don't care about what kind of attention that you get, we think that it's going to be detrimental for you to propagate the very idea that you wanted to bring forth to begin with. And the third one is that they say that how, the ability, because it is not really registered by patriarchy, and therefore we should go along with it. What the hell is wrong with that, right, ladies and gentlemen? Because the reason why men tend to maintain and the mentality that women are weak is because they tend to go to the flow and the conformity that they wanted to bring into this debate, right? We think that if you need to resist, then resist. There's not going to be any problem for that, right? And we have to say no to the people who needlessly conform and follow to this patriarchy, because we need to know where to draw the line. First extension, we're going to vertically extend the case by opening the moon, but the value of this extension is different, because we're going to talk about the feminism as a whole and how it involves patriarchy into regressing feminism, right? What are the type of thoughts that marketplace feminism try to bring forth, right? Because more than not, they are the kind of feminism brought by Taylor Swift, for example, the kind of feminism that is prevalent within the privileged white female girl. And also the kind of feminism that utilizes the physics in this part A, like for example, how Megan Tyrian propagated the very idea of fat girl, about more like curvy girl against skinny girls, and also about Nicki Minaj hypersexualizing girls, right? Why do we think that this is detrimental to the feminism as a whole, right? Because it creates clash between the school of thought of feminism. And from the fact that this is the more fun and interactive school of thought of feminism, this is exactly the kind of thing that more often than not people would tend to. And more often than not, ladies and gentlemen, if we notice, the side opening opposition wanted to say that they wanted to create the kind of feminism that is more effective than the rest. This is particularly harmful. Why? Because it creates superiority and monopoly among the school of thought, right? Because and this is exactly the kind of thing that allows other school of thought, that allows marketplace feminism to belittle other forms of feminism, right? And it also creates a rift of clash. We acknowledge that when it comes to among the other schools of thought, clash among these schools of thought already existed. But this time, the fact that you allow artists to be a part of, to be the propagator and also the advocate of this particular school, this particular idea of feminism, meaning that you allow direct involvement of the media. What does this tell you? It allows the media to tell people that this is exactly the kind of feminism that you are trying to bring, right? You are telling people that you have one kind of school of thought of feminism that is superior to others, and the moment when other school of thought, like for example, the ones who are fighting for the right of abortion, and also the kind of school of thought that are fighting for females' rights to wear hijab, they tend to club this kind of feminism. And more than not, if they wanted to be heard, they tend to bicker with one another because of the polarity and also the difference when it comes to this school of thought. These are the kind of idea, the kind of narrative that you tell to people out there, and other people who does not even agree with the idea of feminism can exactly utilize this particular information to tell people that look, this is exactly the reason why feminism is bad. Because even among themselves, they don't even agree with the idea with one another. How then you can rely on feminism to actually propagate and reinforce the idea of feminism, right? That is highly harmful. And if you say that you are able to control patriarchy, you don't think so, because you entrench patriarchy, and also you entrench the idea of guys out there who wanted to vilify and also demonize the feminism and the feminist movement. Yeah.
Given the rise of the alt-right movement making use of simple messages to sway masses, aren't you now creating a vacuum as a counter-narrative to a very powerful messaging system that elected Donald Trump?
There is no vacuum here, because more often than not, we think that feminist movement has already been around. But when you are creating this, you are creating some kind of feminist movement that is regressing the movement, the kind of feminist movement for fighting a much more legitimate ideas from going forward. Because the moment when you create certain standards, then something that is much more appealing to the people, you are clouding this other school of thought that are much more legitimate than the ones that you wanted to talk about. And the second extension, this is the part where we are entirely unique in today's debate. We have to understand the kind of audience that marketplace feminism handles. Who do they handle to? They handle to the teens or also people who are less likely to think about the real feminism agenda. Why? Because they are attracted to the sexy and interactive attribute of marketplace feminism, not the real idea behind feminism. This is exactly the reason why from the first speaker up until now, we talk about the real concern here. We are talking about the concern of female wanting to wear hijab. We are talking about the concern of female who are fighting for the right of abortion. But more than now, you don't tell me that among all the breakup songs by Taylor Swift, there is one song that is talking about females' right to abort. Those are not the kind of things that you want us to talk about, right? Because you have to understand, in order for you to be able to become an effective marketplace feminist, you have to be able to pander to the thing that people are more attracted to the most. And also, the truth is, feminism are comparatively heavier than the materials and ideas used to flag marketplace feminism. Because if comparison between a group of beautiful girls living high in lifestyle and sit by the road, sitting by the road rallying about the rape case, there is greater likelihood that people are going to choose the former and then the latter. So why is this related, right? Because if we look in the history, like more often than not, the kind of people who have advocated the real kind of feminism are academicians and also politicians, people who are able to create like subtle and also much more meaningful change within the society. We don't think that you utilizing our case is going to be any better, because more often than not, like the real concern that they have in their mind is like fighting for the kind of lifestyle that they think that other people should live in, and the moment when you don't like, when you don't belong to that particular lifestyle or that particular attribute, you are not necessarily a part of us. Thank you.
Next, the member of government. I now invite the member of opposition to begin his speech. Here.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Chair, feminism doesn't have to be perfect. Feminism needs numbers, because numbers is what creates social change. We fear that side government is going to reduce the space that's available for valid discussion or engaging discussion of feminism, and though they might have, in the best case scenario, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen, government have a more informed mass of feminists, but unfortunately that number is going to be far less than a rising majority of people who are diametrically opposed to feminism. The election of Donald Trump proves to you that there is a large proportion of society today that buy into simplistic messaging, right? And we may think simplistic messaging doesn't make sense, but recognize this, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen, we live in an era of post-truth, an era where feelings matter more than reasonable arguments. Very disenfranchised people buy into the rhetoric that white men are being pushed aside for the sake of prioritizing women and prioritizing liberal agenda, right? Your world is a world that validates a particular rhetoric. Your world is one in which weakens the feminist movement, reduces numbers of the feminist movement, and leads to a world that the world in which more Donald Trumps will rise. We think we need a mass movement of feminists coming to the forefront. We think we will accept the trade-off of less informed feminists as long as we get the numbers. And we think it's a trade-off we are willing to defend. Sit down, right? Much of my rebuttals will be integrated in my extension. I'll talk about a couple of things, right? The chief thing that will be different between us and opening is that number one, we'll quantify you the harms of what the vacuum that they will create, and secondly, we'll tell you why marketplace feminism will be better, will be eventually much better, and solve problems that they say will occur in marketplace feminism. I'll talk about three things, right? Number one, what would capitalism look like without marketplace feminism? Number two, why commodification is okay in principle, and we don't think there's anything inherently wrong with commodification, dealing directly with opening government, and lastly, why marketplace feminism can evolve to be better, dealing with the material in their side. But first, I'll talk about the second part first, to deal directly with the closing government. Why marketplace feminism can evolve to be better? Number one, because it's a competitive environment, right? Brands want to one-up each other all the time. Look at Nando's, look at BMW, this Audi, right? So that means if one brand portrays white feminism as its ideal, it's smart for the other brand to portray itself as a champion of intersectional feminism, right? To portray the black feminist, to portray the feminist who dons the hijab, because it's also about differentiation of branding. It may be a smart capitalist decision, but the outcome is that you portray more different faces and facets of feminism as a whole, right? So this means ultimately you will as a side effect, we think marketplace feminism naturally adopts the critique of the portrayal of other brands of marketplace feminism. For example, if your critique is that BMW, for example, portrays women in this particular light, Audi is happy to adopt your critique and push its own version of marketplace feminism to one up Audi, for example, right? So that natural competition allows marketplace to adopt your critique or portrayal of other brands. But also, we think it creates a cultural space for counter narratives. A cultural space you haven't proven that you can provide on the outside. A space which you say can only really be adopted by politicians, right? Like who are these politicians who actually push for feminist movements today, right? So we think that was a vacuum you guys have already proved, right? So we think that, for example, right, even if you have problems with Taylor Swift, we think you have individuals like Nicki Minaj who will happily provide the counter narrative and happily adopt the critique that you have against Taylor Swift to position herself as the superior brand to Taylor Swift. So we think that's a natural incentive there. But secondly, also, we think there's a natural incentive for brands to target specific demographics. What does this mean, right? So for example, we look at the fencing champion who donned the hijab from America, right? I think it was a smart capitalist decision to have on the face, right? I think but also, what it also appeals to markets in the developing world as a whole. It shows that America is not just America of white people and white America of Islamophobia. The things in America that celebrates diversity, celebrate inclusivity as well. Yes, it's a smart capitalist decision, but the outcome is still a more diverse-based feminism. We think that's something that we're going to defend at the end of the day, right? So we think that the developing world can also have. We think also brands and capitalists and MNCs are more sensitive to branding with regards to approaching the developing world. So if we're talking about outreach to the developing nations, we think brands are much more sensitive because they have much more stake in selling their product in those developing world. So they're going to position their feminism in a way that's much more culturally acceptable to this developing world in comparison to your ivory tower feminism that's going to be preached and stop them for people from the developing world. If on our side, the comparative is much better. So as a conclusion, marketplace feminism isn't perfect, but it has all the incentives to evolve to become better because of natural capitalist incentives, right? People are self-interested, but sometimes the self-interest can lead to something better at the end of the day. I think
it's like CEOs being contradictory. You can't say that the rise of Donald Trump proves the failures of feminism and then push the same very ideals of feminism.
Right? So we argue to you, given that that's the context, right? It's a strong counter narrative, right? And we don't think you have really proved that strong counter narrative exists because at the end of the day, it's about numbers, right? On our side, yes, the messaging is simpler, but we argue to you that the messaging can reach much more people than on your side. That ultimately wins elections at the end of the day. That's important to defend, right? But let's look at what would feminism capitalism look like without marketplace feminism, right? We think they're already discussed. Number one, what would branding look like without marketplace feminism? We think number one, there will be sexual objectification of women, right? We think there will be a portrayal of women as dehumanized individuals without agency. It will be appealing to our baser instincts, right? It will be appealing to the notion that we want women to look a certain way. Women have larger breasts, or women to look skimpy, right? So these are the things that will exist on their side far more often than not, because when they reject, there's a rejection of this feminism, right? So we think the tangible harm on their side is that young women in their world will feel more likely to want to be anorexic, to want to conform to some kind of ideals, right? And as opposed to outside where though Nicki Minaj and Taylor Swift are beautiful women in and of themselves, but they tell you that it's okay to not look at them, right? So we think it's also counter narratives that also exist within a particular paradigm. So we think it's far better on our side in comparison to theirs. Secondly, with regards to the developing world as well, right? We think on their side, it's more likely to occur. We think, or more importantly, right? We think with regards to developing world, their side of the fetishization of human purity, right? The notion that women need to be pure, women need to be untouched, women need to be sexually docile, right? I think that's a problem on their side as well. And this is our side, you can champion women who not only embrace their values, but embrace their sexual freedoms as well, right? I think that's important to defend on our side as well. For all these reasons, Mr. Speaker, we're very, very happy to defend marketplace feminism.
I thank the member of opposition. I now invite the last speaker on the government bench, the government. Here.
share? Panel, I do find it funny that we have a group of men explaining what feminism means to women. But before that, let's focus on what happened in these debates. We on site closing government have talked about the idea that we want to focus on the quality of feminism, that we want to focus on the ability for women, for highly knowledgeable and women who truly cares deeply about feminism to push the feminist agenda, to push for female empowerment, to push for equity. While on their house, the idea is simple. They want numbers because they say that numbers can push a greater change. Numbers can create better policies. Now I will reply that in my issues. But firstly, we want to remember. Side closing opposition has talked about a few things. Firstly, they talked about how Donald Trump has shown that people now care more on simplistic messages. Has shown that the alt-right has rejected the idea that women that rejected the idea and pushed the idea of conservative and male chauvinism. However, the issue is that the alt-right rose as a rejection of mainstream culture. They rose as a rejection of the very same market feminism that they want to push. They reject the inclusion of this in normal everyday culture. They reject this in PC form. They reject everything that's been coming because of exactly what they brought with market feminism. Secondly, the idea that brands will exist because they have incentives to push for different values. Firstly, brands do not make any actual changes. Some certain advertisements from Nike or BMW doesn't really create new policies, doesn't really change feminist values, it doesn't really, all it does is create awareness. It doesn't even create the good kind of awareness. It just tells you that, oh, women can do this thing, and that's about it. You know why? Because they don't ever have incentive to ever change their internal systems. Companies like BMW or Dove will always have male board members, will always have male CEOs and CFOs, and they do not change that. Without the idea of feminism, they're saying that women will be worstly objectified. The thing is, it already happens. People like Nicki Minaj and Katy Perry selfly hypersexualize and objectify themselves. The worst thing is they do it under the name of feminism. They do it under the name because I'm an empowered woman, I want to show my breast to everyone. That's what they're doing. Rita Ora and Kelvin have done the same thing. And we're saying that's problematic because it just shows that women are objects. Even worse because now they're saying that they are objects in the name of feminism. But for multiple issues, yes.
How on a comparative does your side of the house manage to actually sway even more people without all that amount of awareness, which will ultimately lead to people learning more about it and therefore becoming the hardcore members your side of the house want to push for?
That's a trade-off that we make. That we do agree that what we want to bring is succeed. That we do agree that the numbers on our side will be low. However, let's talk about what ideals talk about. He's talked about two things. He has talked about the types of feminism that exist on their side of us. The types of white privileged feminism. The types of feminism that talks about your squad. The types of feminism that talks about that drinks pumpkin spice lattes. The types of feminism that rejects skinny women just because they're skinny, just because we're curvy and they're not us. That's the type of feminism that they bring. These sorts of feminism panders to certain types to certain demography. They pander to the teenage college studying girls who are often people who are young adults. They do not make that much money anyway. They get their money from allowances and from college loans. They struggle in college. They get the ideas of feminism from the media. They get the ideas of feminism from Tumblr. These are the sorts of people who do not have political, academic. Yes, there are a low number of people, but who will have the true love and deep care of feminism? Who has knowledge and policies? Academics, politicians, community leaders. We have people like Malala Yousafzai and Maya Angelou. We have people academic and political clout. We have people who can rally their own communities better without ever needing to resort to certain cheap consumerist policies. Then moving on, the idea of who better helps feminism as a whole. Feminism overpowers, on the house, market feminism overpowers everything. The thing is, the problem is these sorts of feminism overpowers themselves, even though they are split, even though they are themselves split. There are many types of feminism I've talked about. The type of rich white privileged feminism, the type of body shaming feminism, the type of black feminism, the type of hypersexualization feminism. The difference here is that yes, we do agree that traditional feminism has its own clashes. However, the clashes that exist on our side is private. It exists within certain circles. It exists within debates. It exists within discussions and forums. On their side, these sorts of discussions and clashes exist on Twitter. It exists on fights between Katy Perry and Taylor Swift. It exists in fights between Nicki Minaj and Beyonce. It exists in the problems where people can see, where the media loves to take pictures, loves to just post on whatever the hell Nicki Minaj just posted. It's what the media wants, and it is exactly the sort of rhetoric, it's exactly the sort of issues and clashes that feminists and conservative groups will always want. They will always say that women are so petty, they can't even solve of who has the right guy, who's wearing the right dress. Now that's the problem here. On us adults, discussions are academic, on us adults, discussions are post-truths. Sit down. Now, the final issue here, who better helps conservative values? They are saying that when you push certain ideals, people will be normalized the idea that women are empowered. Thing is, in most conservative third world countries, people see market feminism as the idea of a Western liberal agenda. They see BMW as that white guy's company. They see Dove as the American company. They see American celebrities as people who want to come and kill us all. Even worse, they see them coming with the idea of Western hedonism that brings only drugs, sex, and rock and roll. On us adults, yes, we do have the same problems where people do not really like the idea of feminism, but our feminism is often more localized. Malala Yousafzai has shown how you can have feminism in conservative Muslim countries. She has shown that the idea of academic authority exists on us adults. That you can say to people that this is what academics believe, that this is what politicians believe, and they have more authority, they have more clout on people rather than celebrities who just post music videos, who just sings and acts. And the very major thing is the fact that academic studies also transcends culture. That what the academic values and facts can be spread to all ideals. On that side, these things does not exist because you can't exactly bring American culture to the center of Afghanistan. What we want to have, so we want women to be able to be empowered. We want a better world. We want a better feminist value. One that's not focused on numbers. One that's focused on quality. Thank you.
And thanks to the government. I now invite the last speaker of the resolution with begin his speech. Here.
So that it's easier when you ask. Sorry, I'm walking. Don't just have to see it. I got very hungry, so hide it. Madam Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, two simple issues that I'll discuss in my speech, right? The first one is how marketplace feminism allows for awareness to spread more and how how action is taken more under our paradigm, and secondly, how there's this form of better discourse that's created under marketplace feminism, right? The government side had to prove by eliminating marketplace feminism that somehow that they will be able to spread their message under status quo, right? Without any form of advertising or anything. They couldn't prove that, right? And CG made the concession that yes, on their side, numbers will always be low. And by making that concession, they've already lost this debate, right? Because we think that by spreading the message or ideas of what it means to be a feminist has to be able to reach those people, right? I think on our side, we've proven that there are tangible effects like that where it can reach to more individuals, right? So the principle starts of closing up is very simple. The marketplace feminism allows that spreading to happen, it allows to reach to more people. Even if these people don't want to listen to it, eventually they will hear it, and there'll be some form of discussion about feminism at the end. So let's look at the first issue, right? 2 years ago, 2014, right, the United Nations, Emma Watson gave a very fantastic speech, right, a critically acclaimed speech about why men should be embracing feminism. The result of that speech is very simple, right? It made the news all about feminism, right? About her achievements as a celebrity, helping out the causes of feminism under marketplace feminism, right? All the news cycles picked it up, was able to talk and discuss about feminism, about positive feminist ideas, right? Not just about Emma Watson, but also about any other individual woman, right? Any other newspaper will go up to any empowered woman and ask them what it's like to be a pro-feminist, right? And we think that that sort of awareness can only happen if celebrities are given this platform, to actually endorse these ideas through commodification of marketplace feminism, right? So mainstream businesses and Hollywood, Washington, whoever they are, right? They love this idea of using the F word, which means the feminist word, right? They like to use the feminism as a tool in order to reach these people, right? And why is this actually a very good thing, right? I'll give you a principal example, right? Let's say in 1998, the first USA flag, right? They wanted to celebrate the 150 years of the suffragettes that women suffered in terms of fighting for their women's rights, right? So what the first flag USA did was very simple. They put a credit card ad up, right? They said that in order to celebrate the awareness of women fighting for their rights to vote, now you can apply for a credit card. So two things work here. One, you get a great credit card deal. But secondly, you're actually forcing people to read the ad, right? And that's really important. Even if you don't agree with the idea of women voting, right? Which most conservative people might have that idea, right? You're still being aware and you're still reading it, right? And you're acknowledging that, okay, as women had to fight for their rights, it's okay, I'm still gonna get my credit card because now I know something, I learned something new, or fun fact, right? Okay, so we think that so businesses and brands are able to target people who waste that because they have a database within their own system. Like this is what marketing teams do at the end, right? They know the people they want to reach, and they know exactly, they have the numbers that they want to reach, and they're able to portray ads and push it out to these people. So let's say that they push out 10% of that marketing money for Taylor Swift advertising something about feminism to a conservative society. We think that 10% is good, at least it reaches them, right? Under their scenario, it doesn't even reach them because they're creating their own echo chamber. In a way that they're just hiding themselves in the corner because they don't see it on TV anymore. All they can do is action. Albert brilliantly pointed out, what happens is that when you hide that, right, is that you get a result like Trump, right? These are the people, these are the sort of people who don't listen to facts. These are the people that only just want to hear what they want to hear, right? Because nobody else is telling them otherwise. And we think, under our scenario, you get that spreading. Before I go on closing.
Look, you can't see that people always accept illicit. People always accept more localized forms of feminism as compared to American liberal agendas.
Okay, I'll get to that in my second issue. Okay, so in liberal democracies, right, there's always a huge contingent or big contingent of conservative societies that exist, right? So these sort of people are the ones who believe that women should stay at home, divorce is bad, abortion is bad, all this sort of stuff, right? And we think that, so two things can happen when you have marketplace feminism in these sort of societies, like in America, Texas, or Kentucky, any of these sort of states, right? Two things say, one, they could either say, well, okay, I'm aware of it now, or two, they can disagree. But it's okay for them to disagree because it creates a discussion, which is really important. So you have two sides of conversations happening. That's what happened in the Trump election. Nobody in the Democratic side was willing to listen to the other side of the story, and thus you saw 62 million people actually vote for Trump, right? So the point of this sort of reaching these sort of communities is important, right? Because it makes you have this discussion. And we think on our side, it happens more on our side. But now let's move to the biggest crunch on government side. This idea of, well, now conservative societies like in Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan will now look at America and see that, well, this is what a woman is supposed to be like. We're like, why not? Right? They're in America, they're free, they're able to wear whatever they want. But even in America, they embrace diversity. Right? We look at the Olympic teams, for example, in 2016, the first Muslim woman to win a gold medal in fencing. Right? She wore a scarf while she was performing for the United States of America. Now, if a company wants to come up and get her and talk about her views of feminism while she's a Muslim, we think that that sort of messaging can spread all over the world, right? They're still acknowledging other parts of feminism as well by using her as a tool. We don't think that businesses and brands, we don't see how that is actually a bad idea at the end of the day, right? So we think that using these people, using brands, using these celebrities to spread this sort of message is better because people love celebrities at the end of the day, right? They're more on TV, they're more visible, they're there. And they can talk about it any show, anytime, anywhere to 10 to 12 billion people around America and even around the world if you share it on YouTube and all that, right? So this sort of messaging spreads, right? On their side, they never prove to you how that messaging can spread when you eliminate marketplace feminism. I'm very, very proud to oppose.
And then outside of the floor, please, first of all, shake hands and wait in the